English Learning Hub.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Learning Hub, where English is easy and enjoyable. I'm Tom.
I'm Jenny, and wow, day 16 officially passed the halfway point of our 30-day shadowing challenge. Even if you don't feel it yet, your English listening, speaking, and rhythm have all gotten better.
Before we start, please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a day.
Today's topic makes a lot of people nervous, even native English speakers, giving presentations.
Just thinking about it makes my palms sweaty. We're going to shadow phrases you can use standing in front of people at work, in a classroom, anywhere you need to speak English clearly and confidently.
The good news is presentations have a very clear structure, patterns and phrases people use again and again. Once you learn them, you'll feel so much more confident.
Let's talk about why presentations are so hard first. The number one thing I hear from learners is, I know what I want to say, but when I stand up, the words just vanish.
Psychologists call that going blank. Your brain gets nervous and stress releases a hormone called cortisol, which can actually interfere with memory retrieval. So your brain really is working against you in that moment.
And another challenge is pronunciation. When you're nervous, words start to blur together. That's exactly why shadowing helps, because it trains you to hear natural rhythm and how words connect.
Okay, presentations have a beginning, a middle, and an end, each with its own phrases. Let's start with the opening. The first 30 seconds are the most important because that's when your audience decides whether to listen.
First phrase, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Simple, polite, shows respect. Let's shadow it, slowly first, then at natural speed. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
Next, for introducing yourself. My name is your name, and today I'm going to talk to you about your topic. Notice talk to you about, not just talk about. It's more direct and personal. Shadow it with your own name and topic.
Next, a preview phrase called signposting. I've divided my talk into three main parts. First, we'll look at the background, then we'll move on to the main challenges, and finally, we'll discuss some solutions. Research shows when listeners know the structure up front, they understand and remember content much better.
And one for grabbing attention at the start. Before I begin, I'd like to ask you a quick question, or let me start with an interesting fact. Starting with a surprising fact makes the audience sit up immediately.
Now, the middle of the presentation. This is where transitions and emphasis matter most. First transition. Now let's move on to our next point. Simple and clear.
Next, in addition to this, I'd also like to mention, for adding more information, and for example, or to give you an example of what I mean, examples make abstract ideas real and believable.
For emphasis, the most important thing to remember here is, this is like a volume button for your content. It makes people lean in and pay attention.
And I'd like to draw your attention to, great when highlighting a slide, chart, or number.
You don't need 100 phrases, just a few reliable ones you practice until they come out automatically, like having the right tools in a toolbox.
Now, the ending. A weak ending can undo a great presentation. First, signal you're almost done. To wrap up, or the more formal, in conclusion, or as I come to the end of my talk today.
Next, summarizing. So, to summarize the main points we covered today, or let me quickly recap what we talked about. This gives your audience one more chance to lock in the key information.
Then, the big takeaway. The one thing I hope you take away from today is this. This forces you to identify your most important message.
And finally, thanking your audience. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Happy to answer, not does anyone have questions, shows confidence.
Let's put it all together with a mini presentation. I'll start. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jenny, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of sleep. I've divided my talk into three main parts. First, what happens when we don't sleep enough, then why sleep matters for the brain, and finally, simple ways to improve your sleep.
Now, let's move on to our next point. In addition to this, I'd also like to mention that most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I'd like to draw your attention to this fact. Studies show people who sleep less than 6 hours a night are 4 times more likely to get sick.
The most important thing to remember here is that your brain actually cleans itself while you sleep through something called the glymphatic system.
To wrap up, let me quickly recap what we talked about: the dangers of not sleeping, why sleep matters for your brain, and ways to sleep better. The one thing I hope you take away from today is this: treat your sleep like it's important, because it is.
Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
That's the magic of learning set phrases. They give you a structure, but inside it, you can put your own ideas and personality.
Quick review. Opening phrases. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is, and today I'm going to talk to you about. I've divided my talk into 3 main parts. Before I begin, I'd like to ask you a quick question, or let me start with an interesting fact.
Middle, transitions. Now let's move on to our next point. In addition to this, I'd also like to mention, for example, emphasis. The most important thing to remember here is, I'd like to draw your attention to.
Ending, to wrap up, in conclusion. So to summarize the main points we covered today, the one thing I hope you take away from today is this. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Remember, you need to say these out loud, not just read them. Exaggerate the rhythm, copy the intonation. That's how they get into your body.
Here's your challenge. Give a 1-minute presentation in English about anything: your morning routine, your favorite food, your city, using at least 3 of today's phrases.
And if you feel brave, record yourself and watch it back. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is practice.
Every time you open your mouth and speak English, even if you make mistakes, your brain is learning. It is never wasted effort.
Please share this video with a friend who's learning English and come back tomorrow for day 17.
That's a wrap on day 16. You showed up, you practiced, you learned something new today. Be proud of yourself.
See you tomorrow on day 17. Keep practicing, keep speaking.
English is easy and enjoyable. Bye, everyone.